Okay, so I'm like, it's a wasp.
Yo, you're getting hit by the beans. You're getting hit by my beans. That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good.
Yeah.
I'm growing purple beans.
Yeah. Eventually to go into a mash tun or whatever to give them a shot, or
people keep joking that I should do like Kyle's Garden IPA, because if you look around, it is actually like our garden. We live in a little space, so we didn't have anywhere to grow stuff, and being a green thumb, I needed some vegetables. So yeah, we've got kale and lettuce and purple beans and all kinds of different things. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside. Today we are in Keswick, Ontario area at Turkey Shoot Brewing, and joining us today is co-owner and head brewer, Kyle.
Hi guys.
Hi, thank you very much for taking time in your schedule to speak with us about Turkey Shoot brand and the beers and your beer adventure, as we'll call it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, awesome. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate you guys stopping here.
Yeah. You brought me in some delicious looking beers to try. What's number one I'm doing?
The first one you're going to have is our Cedarbrae Cream Ale. It's likely the lightest beer we have on tap because, there are a lot of questions come, and one of the first ones is, what do you guys have that's light? So I went with a cream ale. So yeah, it's nice and fresh, and you can enjoy. Crushable.
Awesome. What's the alcohol in this?
It's actually a little bit off style. It's 6%.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
A little off style.
Awesome. As we do on the show, we do a toast.
Toast.
So,
cheers.
A toast. There we go. That does not taste like a 6% beer.
Right? I'm drinking Revenge of the Pine. This is our 7.3 West Coast style IPA.
Yeah.
Uses all Heiho hops, so big Centennial Chinook notes in there. So
nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, that's surprisingly, like you said, when you said 6 and I tasted them, no. So, yeah, you guys, the way you can hide alcohol now is mind-blowing. So awesome. So Kyle, what's the beer story? Where did it start and where you are now?
Oh man, so we started this business as a homebrew basement operation in Etobicoke. Me, my fiance Jaclyn, and a friend of ours, Brennan, just kind of devoted every weekend a couple years ago to brewing every single weekend and learning new styles, and we just kind of started that dream and started saying like, hey, let's maybe keep this going and let's see if there's a spot for us like in the industry. And we went towards Grand Bend first, and after trying to go after this little diner, it all kind of crashed and burned, and that was one of those moments where it's like, do we keep going? Do we kind of give up? And we just decided to keep pushing through. Jaclyn then proposed her hometown of Georgina, and we started kind of humming and hawing at that. We started doing a lot of research, seeing there's no brewery up here. It's a big, healthy demographic, mixed demographic of people, age, everything. So we decided to start poking around. We found this little space. It used to be a furniture display store. We took this space over in November, and I guess we've just been building from there, and we've been open now for about 5 months.
So November pre-pandemic or prime pandemic?
Yeah, prime.
Okay.
Prime.
Wow. Yeah, it blows my mind that each and every time we speak to one of you guys who opened up during the pandemic, I'm like, how, obviously it's months of plans ahead, and I'm sure you already had the plans to open a brewery prior to the pandemic, and you're like, you know what, we gotta do this. Like, this is our passion. Let's go. So.
Yeah, it was one of those things, like you said, it was a tough time, but we just decided like this is what we want to do, and like the storm will clear, so we just got to keep pushing forward and just be positive and optimistic that like we are doing something that we really do love. So.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have a strong word of mouth from social media. Like, I discovered your team because of other Ontario beer influencers, like saying like, hey, Turkey Shoot, these guys are upcoming, they're going to be awesome, check them out. And so it's like, oh, follow, and watching your journey with the renovations and then this patio being created, it's like you guys, I could see you guys as a team are very passionate about what you're doing, so it's great.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's pretty unique to get to work with your significant other, and everyone always has their mixed reviews of how that goes, and we obviously have our days, but that's one of my favorite parts about this, is that we've built this place together. So
that's awesome. I love hearing that, and it is a team effort in the end, and you guys are, when you think about it, the ultimate team. So
thanks. No,
it's
it
awesome.
Means a lot.
Now, obviously, besides the pandemic, any other kind of major difficulties when it came to like financing or location or things like that, kind of roadblocks and difficulties creating Turkey Shoot?
I think most brewery owners will say they all struggled with like certain aspects of the township, like just kind of introducing a new business to them. That whole endeavor was just really tough to get through those hoops, but finally we got through those, and now we're rolling. But again, it's just the little leaps and bounds you got to take to get through zoning, and then they got to come and inspect your building, make sure all your stuff is kind of in line and safe and everything. So and it's a first time. We've never opened a building, so to start from scratch and just have a blank slate, it was a lot. So that was one of the other hurdles for sure.
Yeah. Was Keswick very welcoming to, hey, please come on in?
At first, I'll be honest, not really, but we kind of just kept whittling away at them, and we knew a couple people. Jaclyn knew the former mayor here, so she kind of reached out to him, and he got the ball rolling on a few things, and then they changed a few things to allow our business to operate here, and now they've been nothing but supportive, and that's something I've really seen with this community, is now that we are here and they kind of get it, they're like, okay, well, this business is actually doing good things.
Do you find in the area, because obviously there's kind of houses like almost right behind us, and there's a lot of businesses along the main road here. Do you have kind of a mix of both where people leave and work, come for happy hour, go home?
We love our regulars. We have regulars that come, they call it their Turkey Thursdays. They'll come for Fridays and Saturdays. We have Cody's Tacos that come here. So there's nothing more delightful to see people coming back week after week to just sit in the patio and join their friends, and a lot of them live close, so they can have that extra beer, they're walking distance. We hear that a lot. They're like, oh, we're really excited that you're within walking distance now, because we just have to go across town and have beers and pasta pizza or something.
Turkey shoot, super original. How'd you guys come up with that?
So the spot that we were first looking at in Grand Bend, it was this little diner, and it was beside a monstrous turkey farm. And the saying a turkey shoot is it's taking advantage of an obvious situation, which opening a brewery in Ontario is absolutely nothing like a turkey shoot. So with like our first endeavor crashing and burning and like all the struggles we had, we kind of like threw that name out, kind of as like one of those things to keep reminding us that this is always a grind, and like no matter what we do, is nothing about this is easy, and it's just we're always cheeky with our humor, and as you can see, our logo's kind of cheeky.
Yeah.
It was just something fun, and we stuck with it, and people love the name now, so it's just stuck, and we really like the name. I think it's kind of fun.
Seeing the label, it reminds me of that Simpsons Halloween horror episode where it's like the big turkey who attacks like the great pumpkin, and oh, here, enjoy this turkey. It's like, you cook my brother, no, revenge.
Yeah, people love the fact that he's shooting a hop, and we've named our little mascot Kevin. So he's now rocking, if you see on the glass, Keswick dinner jacket, all green. So the town loves that too. You
mentioned pre-show you will be kind of rebranding Kevin.
Yeah, so our first look at Kevin on the can here, he's in kind of like a pilgrim's outfit. And just with things going on, we didn't want anyone to think we were kind of insensitive to the tragedies that are happening. So, and it was honestly just kind of a fun little image. When you search turkey on images, most of them come up kind of dressed like that. So we wanted to take the steps to change that and make sure that we were kind of more tuned to this town. And the Keswick dinner jacket is a joke here. Everyone says as soon as you move to Keswick, check the closet. There's likely a dinner jacket in there for you. So we made the steps. We changed Kevin. He's rocking a dinner jacket, and everyone just absolutely loves it here in Keswick. So it was just a change we decided to make, and it's just we're slowly kind of turning that brand over. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so the Lagerdale is kind of your main can right now. People are coming in to grab, obviously.
Yeah, that's our only can that we have currently. Okay. And then the rest of the stuff, as you saw inside, you'll see later, we have 10 taps and 2 seltzers. So I like to keep most of the stuff in here, but we do have 1 LCBO SKU. With kind of the pandemic, we weren't really sure what to expect and if we'd be able to open. So we kind of went that venture. It's a little unorthodox, obviously, for a startup to have a SKU, but we just made the steps. It's doing fantastic locally, so we're really excited.
That's good. I'm assuming most sales are based out of Toronto, since you guys are only an hour south.
Yeah, so we have, I think we're in like 30 spots now, and it's kind of all around Lake Simcoe because of the can. We felt like that was kind of an easy one, kind of get up to Aurelia and around that area. So yeah, we're just kind of spreading the love, and it seems like it's landing. It's a nice, easy drinking beer, so there's nothing scary about that product.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, your social media is fantastic. I'm sure you've had people drawn from, this week we met Oshawa beer guy Bob, who we interviewed previously.
Great dude.
He spoke about you. Brew Review Phil spoke about you guys as well. So I'm sure
Great
you just
dude.
Get everybody coming up from Toronto who can now, who have access to a vehicle or a designated driver, because I can't picture myself taking the Go bus all the way up here.
Yeah.
But that's myself. So you guys seem very popular in like the Toronto, Oshawa, Ajax kind of, let's say Toronto, Durham, and even Drunk Pokeroo out of Hamilton. I've heard mention you guys. So.
Oh, well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just that's what you and I were talking about earlier before we started here. Is that this industry is something that is just so uplifting that if you ever need help, you can talk to an influencer, a brewer, an owner, anything. You can just give them a call and they'll give you the info you need or point you in the right direction to where you need to be. Because we're pretty new at this, and like this is not an easy venture. I'm sure most other brewery owners can attest. It's a pretty unbelievable grind, but no, the community in this industry is just unreal. You can never not get help. It's just great.
I love hearing that you guys help each other, and that's super, super important. It's the same thing when, the pandemic hit for us. It's, well, where are we going to take the show? And Phil, who's behind the camera, is like, hey, what about we'll talk to influencers like we're supposed to. I'm like, oh, yes, and Zoom and technology, and thank God we have the technology we have now versus when I was 20, 22 years ago. That would suck. So,
No,
I can't imagine having dial-up and trying to be on a video chat.
It just wouldn't work, eh?
No. Yeah, and
don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, I mean, more of you guys, I know in Ontario and Quebec and Alberta, I've heard of good things, is more craft breweries have opened during the pandemic that closed, which is mind-blowing.
That's great to hear. And that means that's the same thing we were talking about. It's the brewery owners that just know that at some point, if we all do our part, we're going to finally get through this. And like I can name a bunch that have just done so amazing during this time, and my hat's off to them too, because it was not easy. And I'm sure you've heard it from most breweries that opened or were in that slam during the pandemic. It was tough. It was a lot.
I'm pretty sure we interviewed Third Moon like just after they were finally allowed to have.
Yeah, and they're doing just unbelievable
indoors,
stuff.
so
Yeah, they're doing great stuff. Those guys, they did well, and they're doing even better now.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy for them. A few others. I think Broken Rail out in St. Mary's opened just not too long ago too. A friend of ours opened one in Grand Bend, Brewster's Mill. There's a bunch still kind of opening through this tail end of this pandemic. So, like, again, hats off to all of them for just kind of sticking it out.
Yeah, and I find most of us who are craft beer drinkers believe in the science of craft beer. Aaron coined it. This is science and art put together. And so those of us, we mentioned pre-show, it's like, well, we're vaccinated, and you're like, yeah, me too. So we're trying to keep you guys open while trying to keep ourselves safe. So we understand social distancing. And you said your patio was full yesterday, which is great, but you can only have a half a patio of 30 people. I'm sure when it opens more and you could have 60, 75 people.
Yeah.
You're really looking forward to that. And obviously you're indoor as well. You're going to have at some point.
Yeah, we're going to get it indoor. But like we said, we didn't feel like with the weather like it is, like it's just too nice to sit inside. And we've all been inside for so long. So we do, obviously, when it starts raining, we'll drag these barrels inside and set them up. And there's enough space in there to distance and enjoy beers. So for now, we're going to stay out here, and we're fighting. We're fighting with the town to try to keep this, because it's just a temporary patio. But I'm trying to propose that I've proven that this doesn't need to really go anywhere. So we're hoping that we can keep the patio too.
No, we've been seeing it. We've seen, Beyond the Pale, they had their big patio, and then they also went down to the parking lot, and they said, yeah, the city of Ottawa is just like, this brings us money, do it. So.
Yeah, no, and that's what they need to do. This saved us. Being able to have people in the first opening stage outside at the patio we just started seeing people like come out and enjoy beer instead of just grabbing something retail, because we didn't have a great retail option at the start. So we're a tap room. So
you are coming along though, from what I've seen. So like I saw you guys hauling up the art piece the other day.
That was media, so. You got to take a picture of that. It's pretty wild. We got gifted that, and again, this town is amazing. I asked for 4 guys to help, and I ended up with like 9 guys here. Again, all socially distancing. We had 2 guys on the ends, and then 1 guy holding the ladder. But it was so amazing to see that you ask for a couple and you get an army. It was pretty awesome.
Payment a pint or two, and I'm sure they're happy. So.
I mean, payment in pints is a pretty easy one too, right? Pretty good influence. Hey, I need some help. Oh, help at the brewery. All right, I'll be there.
Yeah, because I remember being in my early 20s, it's like, oh, you'd buy a pizza and a 2-4, and now the way my palate is a friend's like, first of all, we're all in our 40s, so everything's gonna hurt the next week. It's so it's like, just hire roofers, dude. What's beer number 2 I'm trying here?
So that is a seltzer made by the lovely Jaclyn inside. So that is a hibiscus elderberry seltzer. So we do those on kind of a small batch, just kind of turn 2 different flavors kind of every week. We knew that it was going to be a summer thing, so we'll do it for the rest of the summer, and people seem to be really latching on. And yeah, so that's nice and fresh, eh?
A toast.
Cheers. And to you.
Wow. What is that? It's almost like a popsicle, like a melted popsicle. That's impressive.
Yeah, she's done a really good job, and she's done that with that's a tea infused seltzer.
Okay.
So she did it's an elderberry and hibiscus tea that she used.
Like 5% or so.
I think it's 5.5. Yeah, I think it's 5.5.
No, it's.
We try to keep them around 5.5, 6-ish.
It feels like I'm I don't know if you had them in Ontario, but in Quebec we have what we're called sip sacks. Basically, juice in a bag that you just stab
Yeah,
or
like
you
a
rip off
Capri
the
Sun?
corner. Yeah, so it tastes like one of those, and I remember being a kid, I would love those. And
That was the best juice box.
The boozy version. So.
Yeah, no doubt, right? No, it's been a summer hit. We put one on, and as soon as Jaclyn started doing new flavors and fresh flavors, we had a couple hot days, and we were just seeing like just everybody sitting around with seltzer. So we're just like, oh, might as well do it. Like people are enjoying them. We have the ability to brew them, so.
Yeah, no, dangerously crushable. I mean,
well, it's gone.
3 sips.
It's gone.
So it's, wow. So here we are, Jaclyn. As Kyle mentioned earlier, Jaclyn, I understand you worked mostly on the Seltzer program here.
I did, and it's been really interesting because you get to get very experimental with flavors, and I actually just did something totally different today that I just told Kyle about, but I want to do a hop-infused seltzer, my first one.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see how that turns out, and I might add some peaches to it as well.
What made you decide to, like, obviously, for those who are in the aware, and while we were talking, you were actually filming us for social media as well. What made you kind of follow that social media brand to, hey, seltzers are really popular, let's make some seltzers? Like, was that it, or was there another
Yeah, I think it was basically, just getting another option besides beer.
Okay.
For the men and women.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's really important to, definitely have something other than beer, gluten-free people,
Yes.
that sort of thing, and then it's still a good percentage of alcohol as well.
Yeah, well, getting to try the elderberry and outside, I mentioned to Kyle how it's, in Quebec, we have these things called sip sacks. They're literally a bag of juice, and it brought me back to my childhood, but a boozy version of it. When I was a young kid, I'm like, oh my God, I could drink a bunch of these. So it's awesome, and it's great to hear that you've done something, and you're obviously participating big time with your partner, Kyle, so just keep going, that's all we say.
Oh yeah, I need to learn a whole lot more too.
Yeah.
There's always so much to learn, and I've only done 4 flavors so far. So I'm excited for my next one that I'm gonna try. It's my Sicilian roots.
Ooh.
So I'm excited to
I want to jokingly
try
say
that one.
Yeah, I want to jokingly you mean like pasta and sauce?
More, it's gonna be an almond flavor seltzer. So I'm excited to. Yeah, we used to drink a sugar syrup called ordzada.
Nice.
And as kids, so we'd put it over ice, and I'm gonna see if that works in there. Not to give all my secrets away, but it'll be something along those lines.
Unfortunately, those who don't live by won't be able to access it, but for those who are and are within an hour drive, and the influencers we followed who suggested we follow you, come on and check them out when it comes out. So definitely check them out. So yeah, some of your names and labels are also very unique. Is that kind of like get together, throw them at the wall, see what sticks type of thing?
No, so we aim to kind of, I guess pander is the word, but it's kind of not really, but we're local driven. We're both small town people, and this town has never had a brewery, and I think the people are really appreciating, one, that we've come here and brought this little industry. So we thought it'd be cheeky to just start naming most of our beers after places in the town. So when people come here, if they're from Pefferlaw or Cedarbrae or they're from Sutton, they can be drinking a beer that they're from, and we found that to really be effective. Everyone comes and they see the board, they start reading, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I gotta have the Sutton. I've been in Sutton for 20 years. I gotta have my Sutton summer, So yeah, we definitely play into that. And then some of the other ones we just kind of have fun with, like the Revenge of the Pine and the Hut Stout. That's our winter beer. That's number 5, the last one you'll try there. That one's just kind of obvious. This place just turns into a crazy ice fishing town. So we did Hut Stout, kind of fitting name for an ice fishing town. So.
And the labeling, that's pretty unique design, having kind of Lake Simcoe and the hop as your direction.
So that's actually, we got to give that to Jaclyn. She found a local guy that she knew when she was growing up, and he hand draws these kind of maps. So his name's Jordan. He does these for all different people, just custom maps. And We asked him to do one for us. He put a few little Easter eggs. So when you guys leave today, when you're looking at the can, there's a few other breweries on there as little Easter eggs. So
Very cool.
it's pretty neat, but a beautiful can. And again, nothing we do. We always try to support local. So some guy we can help do some artwork and put his name out there, then I'd love to. So
Speaking of that, usually it's later on, but we'll get to that early. So somebody comes by, drinks a bunch of your beers, any kind of friends, if they have a designated driver, let's say even a bicycle, and they're willing to really bike, friends in the area to try.
Well, there are people that come from Newmarket up to here at our brewery. So like we always push them toward Market Brewing, which is a little bit further away, but then locally, some of the local restaurants that have been gracious to help us carry our product. We have one of our favorites is the Beach Lakefront. They've got a beautiful patio over there. Bailey's Homestead. John is a local gentleman, well known, and he actually was the man that helped us launch our product. We had to kind of sell through him just because of all the rules. So he was another place, Bailey's Homestead, that launched our Pefferlaw Pale Ale way back when we first launched our very first can.
That's awesome. Yeah, the community love is always important. And you're mentioning the unique drawing. One of my local breweries, they just named their beers after the streets in the area. And that's it. So
and that's
so
what we're doing.
simple.
Like High Street Hefeweizen is just a really popular street in Sutton area. So.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun having those crazy unique names personally, but if I were to ever have a brewery, I'd be more of a project manager than a brewer like yourself. So I've got the names, I've got the ideas, I know what beer would go with what name. Now well, now I need a brewer and I need staff. Oh, and I also need thousands of dollars I don't have to create a brewery. So. But yeah, hopefully one day we'll be coming along and collabing with you guys. Speaking of which, what collabs have you done? And then what collabs would you like to do?
So local collabs, we've done 3 so far. We've collaborated with a local honey guy. His name's Chris. He runs a company called Hiveshare, and he infused our flagship hop from Clearwater, because we always use Ontario hops, into a honey. So we have a hop honey that's pretty unique. So he used wild turkey hops and he infused that into the honey. We sell that here. We also do a coffee version of our stout with the local roaster. Justin and Amanda, they're amazing with Alpida. And there's actually everyone's been raving about coffee in the beer, so I have another coffee beer on deck. I'm just waiting for the Revenge to be done its last keg. But yeah, we do local collabs with them, and then we also have a local baker that comes and does these special cookies called Kevin Cookies, and she draws our turkey's head on these cookies, and she sells them here too. So those are the local collabs, and then in terms of like beer collabs, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it. We do have one that's kind of right now in the works and one coming up in September with a couple breweries. And then I have always wanted to do kind of a big tandem release with as many breweries that want to support Ontario hops and just do an all Ontario hopped beer release. So like what we do is just find as many breweries that support local all growers, all pick a different hop, all brew a different IPA, and just release it and just kind of say thanks to like all the growers for their endless work. Right now it's harvest season, so those guys, if you have them on social, it's just endless work those guys are doing. So
yeah, it's crazy. I know I watched a video once, I think it was in Brazil or Peru or something, where they were growing hops, and they literally just kind of made their own truck that would just grab the hops, shake everything into the back of the truck, and they're like, yeah, we had to create this because we can't pay 100 guys picking them off vines every day. So it's the life of a hop farmer looks very complicated.
They are the hardest working people, and that's why we pride ourselves in our brew on status. We have a little insignia, it's on the can. We will always use Ontario hops, and I don't think, unless they run out and there's the odd hop we can't get, we'll even just say that this is one of our first. But we've brewed with Ontario hops from the start, and we've worked with Tavistock, Hey-Ho hops, Backroads Home, that's actually Phil's drinking the Sutton, and that's loaded with Triple Pearl from Backroads. And then Clear Valley is one of the big ones we've worked with too, because we get their wild turkey. So just something we definitely will always do is work within the Ontario growers. It just seems like something we should do if they're putting in all this work, and I feel like we have the capacity to do so.
Very cool. Any kind of dream brewery collabs, whether it be Ontario, Quebec, Canada, America, worldwide, let's say, that ultimate collab that you'd love to do?
I'll be honest, I've always wanted to go back and collab with one of my favorite brewers, Jeff at Muddy York. I think he is just a wizard as a brewer. I jokingly used to call him the Wizard of Muddy York. He's on my phone as that. Hi, Jeff. No, great dude, super nice. He's helped me a great deal with my controller. I had a ton of problems running my controller at the start because I was so new to it all. and he was great to call. So I would love to one day do a collab with Muddy York. That's always been something I've wanted to do.
Very nice.
So Jeff, if you're hearing.
Yeah, well, hopeful future interview. We tried to stick to kind of Durham region this last big chunk of interviews, and obviously with how popular we are on social media, being an up-and-coming brewery, being another brewery that opened during the pandemic, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to shoot out a message to Kyle. You answered. You said, yep, come on up to Saturday, and boom. And an hour away is, we've traveled 3 to 6 hours for interviews, so just an hour away from our location is not a problem.
And I appreciate it. It means, it really does. It means a lot for you guys to take the time to come up this way. And it was no worries for us. It was the patio set up and beers are cold.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we got to use the patio. You know, it's inside air conditioning is nice, but thankfully it's not plus 45 like it's been.
Yeah, the last few days it's
so
been pretty bad.
It would have been a rough interview today at 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's number 3 I'm drinking?
So number 3 is the Bitter Baldwin. So that's named after Jaclyn's hometown. She was born and raised in Audubon, which is in Baldwin. So that is a pretty unique, it's an IBA. So it's built like a brown ale, and then it's hopped like crazy with some Hey-Ho hops. Again, another Ontario grower. So
Almost like an English bitter style?
No, it's gonna be like kind of a combination between a brown and a West Coast. So it's gonna be bitter.
Okay.
So
we'll do a toast.
cheers.
Whoa, that is unique.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different style for sure.
Wow, I'm getting like the maltiness of brown, but I'm getting a little bit of the bitterness of like the hops. It's quite the change for a beer for me.
It's a little bit different, right? Yeah, this is one of my more favorite beers, just because it's not I don't know a lot of places that do that kind of a build. And then again, we have the advantage of Ontario grown product in our beer. So
Yeah, no, this is whoa, like I've never had kind of both those flavors on top. It's either I'm used to like an English bitter, which has become one of my more favorite styles. I don't know if it's my palate's developing that way now, but also like, oh, let's do 2 double IPAs and a triple IPA at the end of the night if I'm not driving. If I'm driving, then it's 1 regular IPA.
Yeah.
Well, my friends have multiple beers, and then I'll drink a glass of water, and if they have more, then I'll have maybe 1 more beer.
Yeah.
But, I'm an adult, and I like being responsible, and if I need to be the designated driver, I will be. It's just, grow up. There's no need to drink and drive anymore with the technology we have when it comes to Uber and all that stuff.
No, definitely not. Safety first.
So obviously you're super very, very, very busy. But let's say time comes around again, a whole lot less pandemic. A beercation you'd love to go on when you actually have the time to do it.
I would love to go to Ottawa, honestly. I know that sounds like not really, like, I don't know. There's just a lot there that I've never tried, and that living in Ottawa way back in the day when I wasn't really into craft, I think it just would be kind of fun to go, and it's always been a fun city. I had a great time when I was there, and I just know that there's a ton of craft beer there. So I think it'd be one of those ones where I like to get bang for my buck, and I know if I go to Ottawa, I can hit a ton of places. So that would be one I think I'd love to do. A little more close to here, me and Jaclyn are trying to plan a little trip down to Second Wedge because we've never gotten to go down to Uxbridge. We've heard nothing but great things there too. So they've got a beautiful little patio from what I hear, and great beer. So I'd like to go down to have a little day trip down that way. We don't get a lot of time for vacation, as I'm sure you know, but but when we do, I think Ottawa will be super fun.
I'm sure it'll come. I'm sure it'll be, we can finally take once you're fully staffed, once, like I say, there's lost pandemic, and you could have an assistant manager and like an employee, or, a beer tender, as we call them.
Yeah.
Having one of those, and it's like, oh, me and Jaclyn can go somewhere for a week.
Yeah.
So.
We're actually planning our first little getaway. We're going to our cottage, which is like 3 hours away on September 5th and 6th. So that'd be nice to go see the folks, but not too far, but we need to get away sometimes, because we'd go crazy.
Anything kind of outside North America, let's say I like to say you win the Lotto Max and you could do any
Arizona is a place one of my dad's friends goes to, and he's raved about the beer scene there in Arizona as well. So I would love to go there. I think she's wanted to go to Arizona and do some things that she knows about. So I think if she can be happy in Arizona and I can drink a ton of Arizona beer, I think we'd be great.
I think in almost 100 episodes, I think you may be the first person who's ever said Arizona.
Arizona, oh, there you go.
It's I don't hear that often. So. One question I like to ask most people is, obviously, you're in a smaller town when you think about it. I'm sure the BMCs, the Bud Most Coors, are predominant here still. but you get one of those people who are like, I don't know about craft beer. Let me try something. What's that gateway beer you kind of try from?
To push them right now, like I said, I think for a lot of people it's number 4 currently, because I feel like everyone here who hasn't had a dive into craft, they've primarily drank lagers, or like some commercially made ales that generally don't drink the same as craft ales, I find. So I tend to push them if they're a little bit more adventurous. I like the Pefferlaw Pale Ale, was the first beer I ever brewed, so it's kind of like an entry level pale ale where it's got a bit of zing from hops, but it's not like too much that it's an IPA. So I think that those two they're great, because one kind of mimics a lager, one kind of mimics like hoppy taste, because you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
As a brewery owner, we hear, I want something that's not too hoppy, and it's like, okay, well, just stay away from these 3.
Yeah. Well, they've also, the big boys have deceived the mass crowds with, their ads. They're like, oh, you want an easy drinking beer that's not to this. And it's like, well, these guys make them too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's number 5?
So
or
that
number
is
4, which is number 5.
Yeah, so that is the Ice Hut Stout.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those things. It was funny as seeing what we wanted to keep on tap. We were launching in the summer. Everyone always says, I wonder if you should have a stout in the summer. We kept it on, and it's been a hit. It's super light, so that's one we'll keep around forever, and we have different variations of that. Oh, yep, Judy's coming into the shot. This is our greeter.
We're meeting your friend of the brewery.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's the alcohol on this?
That is 4.5. It's light, yeah.
Toast.
Cheers.
Ooh. Very tasty. It's not like overpowering in the coffee or stuff. Okay, so I'm like, it's a wasp.
Yo, you're getting hit by the beans. You're getting hit by my beans. That didn't sound good. Sound good.
Yeah.
I'm growing purple beans.
Yeah. Eventually to go into a mash tun or whatever to give them a shot, or
people keep joking that I should do like Kyle's Garden IPA, because if you look around, it is actually like our garden. We live in a little space, so we didn't have anywhere to grow stuff, and being a green thumb, I needed some vegetables. So yeah, we've got kale and lettuce and purple beans and all kinds of different things. So
awesome. That's great. No, but it's, I assume you're buying them from a local market or things like that, or local plants. I don't know planting, so I can't really say anything.
Yeah. We just decided to put some planters around, and then that's why we coined this the beer garden.
Yeah. It works. It's very
kind of like being at a market.
Yeah. It's very kind of like chill patio. Yeah, you're obviously next to a main road, but it's great.
We're tucked away in the corner, which is really nice. Yeah, we got the wall behind us here, so we're kind of tucked away. So yeah, it's a nice little spot, and we turn the lights on at night, and it becomes a quaint little area. So
very awesome.
It, yeah.
Like I'm sure at some point when you can expand more, when there's hoping sooner than later less pandemic. Personally, maybe do a trivia night or a bingo night or things
we're planning them now. So we just did our first paint night, which was fantastic. We had I think 15 ladies out here, and a lady named Wendy came and just kind of took everybody through these beautiful like stencil boards and stuff. Had some beers, so that was super fun. We're working on starting some trivia next month on Thursdays, every other Thursday kind of thing. And yeah, as COVID will allow, we're slowly just going to keep adding those music events and all those little things to give us more traction, and also kind of just we built this to build a space for people to come and kind of be back to normal, like come and have a pint with your friends and chat, and we've missed that so much. So yeah, we're just doing as much as we can to make a space for the community, and so far so good. Everyone's really liking it. So
almost like a neighborhood craft beer bar when you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're hoping that people keep coming out, and so far we've got, like I said, we got our regulars, and it's really uplifting to see the return faces.
So Kyle, your plates are pretty unique. What made you come up with this design?
Most of the stuff you see inside and outside has been kind of made or fabricated by myself with help from my stepfather, Charlie. He's helped me a ton doing this, and then Jaclyn has learned a great deal. They're pallets. So when making the pallet patio that you're sitting amongst, we made tables and everything. There was off-cuttings. And I said, yet again, I don't want to spend money on wood, and how could I turn these into workable flights? So we just started chopping these boards up, kind of sanding them down, giving them a little bit of an ornate, fixed up look. Jaclyn was in charge of staining, so she picked a few different stain colors, and then we came up with those. Just write some chalk, boards over there. It shows you what you've got on your flight, so that people don't ever just come out here without like a ticket or something.
Yeah,
We didn't really want to keep having to print stuff or write on paper, so you just have your flight there and then look on the board and let you know what you got.
Yeah, the creativity of the flights or pallets, as people call them, or as we call them in Quebec.
Yeah, we were saying that. Yeah,
it's each of you guys are different, and you mentioned like using leftover wood. Ian from Whippersnapper did the exact same thing.
Yeah, we just met with them. Yeah,
his fence was falling down. He's like,
yeah, they're
that's
great.
That's what I'm using. So
yeah, and that's just how you got to be when things like lumber go crazy expensive.
gosh.
And this is a temporary patio. I just thought, like, how could I get this done? Like minimal spending. So we reached out to one of our label suppliers, Digital Labels, and he had an endless supply of pallets they couldn't even get rid of quick enough. So I went truckload after truckload to Richmond Hill, and I think it took me like 4 or 5 truckloads.
Yeah.
Zipped them all together. Some of these tables don't move because they're kind of the structural integrity of the rest of the place, but no, it worked out. And again, it kind of gives everybody a unique experience. Not often you're sitting amongst pallet tables and a pallet wall and homemade barrel tables with pallet flights.
Yeah, no, super cool. I always love the creativity of what you guys do. You know, our early interview, For Origins, is the same thing. It's he used leftover wood. They sat there and they hand sanded everything, and they waterproofed them basically, and then put this in. Had to route them each. I'm like, oh my god, guys, and they look beautiful, and you'd never known this was like by hand for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's wild what you guys do.
Yeah, it's fun to see all the different. That's one thing I get guilty for. I'll be sitting there on social media and seeing what all the other breweries are doing. It's like, what do they got for flights? Oh, skateboard. Oh, I see a little wooden plank. Okay, yeah.
I always love seeing a unique flight personally, but that's
it's fun.
You know, obviously you're creative when it comes to creating your beer. I'm creative when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
this is both for us.
Yeah.
It's combined. It's great. So kind of, I know, let's say post-pandemic, which who knows when that's going to happen, but kind of what's next for the Turkey Shoot brand?
Obviously, a bigger space would be sweet. I think every brewery ever in
Friends
Ontario.
next door decide to leave.
Yeah,
and-
there's some things going on. There's a bit of a smaller space behind us that we would love to take, but again, it's just kind of making sure we don't kind of outgrow ourselves. We're still just in the soft launch stage. With the pandemic, obviously, it slowed our launch down, so we can't really have one of the big events that we'd like to have. We're just finally planning our first big SOP for a car show. But in terms of like expansion, I don't got a lot of space in there, so I'm gonna go up first. Maybe a bigger brew house would be a dream come true because I'm on 2 barrels. So as you saw, having 10 taps, 2 seltzers, and 7 little fermenters, a lot of work. It's a lot of work keeping those 10 taps full. So a bigger brew house would be a dream come true. But for now, we're just gonna keep grinding out this little spot. It's plenty for us. And like I said, me, Jackson, our other partners behind the scenes. We're just kind of keeping the direction forward, and as when those expansion opportunities come, we'll definitely be looking at doing that for sure.
Yeah, definitely don't try and go outside your means.
No, exactly. So far, we've found a happy little medium. That's going to obviously get a little bit busier as we continue to gain some traction. But like I said, as soon as those opportunities come and it makes sense to make those moves, we'll do that. People want cans, and I know how to run a canning machine, so to say. So it would take a bit of time to get the hang of it, but I think people really want cans. So getting some different packaging means is like one of the things on our radar. And other than that, just like always getting better equipment. It's a bit of a DIY brewery, as you guys
I'm
have saw.
personally a huge fan of cans, and the more they're coming on the market,
Me too.
It's
Yeah.
just everything. Going to the beach,
Accessibility,
going to a
yeah,
friend's house.
it's just the ease of use, right?
Yeah.
You can take a 6-pack of mixed cans and try a bunch, whereas like us, people love the jug fills, but if you want to come and try 4 things and you only have 2 of your jugs here, then you got to kind of pick which one you want to take home, and there's always a new beer, so that's something that people are always finding too. They got to try the new one and they want their favorite, but there's this, and it's a bit of a battle.
It's early on the craft beer like expansion in Quebec was like just growlers, and the rules for growlers in Quebec are very complicated. You can only use the growler from the brewery you're at. You can only do this. You can only do that. You can only do this. And I'm like, it's not worth my time. And so one of the first kind of regular places I would go to, I'm like, when's canning coming or when's bottling coming? It's coming. And then months later, it's like, we got cans. I'm like, this finally. Like as somebody who doesn't want to have a growler in their fridge and have to drink it within a week of it being bottled, whereas the quicker and the fresher the better. But if I could have this in my fridge for 3 weeks and not have to worry about cracking this, and if I bring home an 11% in a growler, I'm not drinking a growler in one sitting, or else I'm falling asleep on my floor splayed out. So
that's one of the reasons we went with the 32, because we just figured 64 is a commitment. Like that's you're cracking that, and you're making sure you've got no night plans, or if you are, then you've got night plans to drink another growler.
Yeah, no, that's hey guys, I have like 3 growlers and football's on.
Yeah,
come on
exactly,
over.
Exactly. People are liking the fact that it's 2 pints, so I think we're gonna stick with the howler, the howler size, or whatever everybody calls them these days. But the half growlers seem to be working. People like it, that it's not too much. And then again, it's a quality thing. If someone takes home 64, they open it one day, they close it thinking it's okay, and now they've decarbed it, and then they try it, and it doesn't taste as good. It's like, well, that would have tasted great off the tap.
No, I've definitely, as a progressive craft beer drinker, you learn that. Especially with myself, I have a consumer palate, so I know what I like, I know what I don't, I can know when it's good, and I can taste when it's bad. I can't tell you what hops are in a beer, what malt build, or anything like that. It's just like, beer, tasty. So it's, it's the same thing. It's open a 64, and then all of a sudden the beer's flat, and you're like, well, I just bought it last week. What happened? So
yeah.
I'm a big fan of this, and obviously
that's
those
what we're working towards for
specific
sure.
reasons.
For sure, and that's exactly it. We get a lot of people like that, especially if they haven't been here. They want to come if they're on their way north, or they're kind of camping and they want to grab something because they're at Sybil's Point.
Yeah,
it would be nicer for them to be able to grab like 6 different things, and then when they enjoy that, they can come back and grab more of the one they like instead of having to commit to like a jug. But again, we're just starting. We're getting the wheels turning, so we've got some things in our crosshairs, and as we develop, it'll just be kind of finding the right equipment.
Like you said, you've only really been open 5 months.
5,
so,
I think next weekend's 5 months or so. Again, the clock just seems to just keep spinning, though. We're almost into September.
Yeah, well, this will actually be out in October, so it's coming along, and you guys keep chugging. Like I said, your social media is obviously very prevalent.
That's Jax. I just saw her walk by.
Jaclyn
I was going to tell her to come say hey,
obviously
but
filming us and stuff. I'm sure that we're going to pop up on your social media, which is great. We always appreciate that. So.
Yeah, she was very new to it. Again, never did social media at that to that degree, and just started watching videos, and she's taught herself how to basically run our entire social media. And as you said, like, she's the reason why we get noticed a lot of times. So. She's great. Oh, bees.
Oh, it's okay.
There's the wasps that are back.
Awesome. So this has been a fantastic talk today. I really appreciate you taking time in your schedule to speak with us about your brewery and your passion, obviously, today. I have no other questions for you, so let my audience know where they can find you.
All right, guys. You can find us at 482 the Queensway. We are Turkey Shoot Brewing Company. We're in the Glenwoods Plaza, and if you want to give us a follow, we're on Instagram as Turkey Shoot Brewing Co., and our website's the same, so just follow us there, and as always, just support local, because that's what we need to do.
So that's all going to be on the episode notes. If you enjoyed what you saw today, subscribe and hit that notification bell. allbeerinside.com is the website, at allbeerinside on all social media. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap.
Not crap.